Welcome back to another lesson of the Logos and Letters. My name is Liam. We're going to finish off this large paragraph in chapter 7. So what I'm going to do this lesson is I'm going to actually, in just a sec, I'm looking at this word here with these words, and I'm going to switch to the second possible translation of thesis. So everything so far that we've been looking at with thesis, didn't mean to do that, I thought that was highlighter, has been with one of the translations, which is like an opinion put down. Okay, so related to the synonymous to the term doxa, or hypothesis, all right, hypothesis. But since it's been right next to episteme, which is like hard science, hard knowledge, I thought I'd address that intellectual side of the definition first, and now I'm going to revert back to the simpler, which is just posture and position. So thesis has three translations as far as I know, and the translations are to use the same word in like three different three different ways that are related to the root term. Okay, so we've looked at one, which is like speculation. Okay, and that is a type of relative. It's like the less precise, less reliable, less robust version of episteme. And now down here, we're going to address the second kind, which is literal just posture. Okay, so anaklisis, like reclining, laying down. If you're relaxing on a couch, that's usually anaklisis. If you're standing in line, that's hestasis. He cathedra, which is me right now, probably you too, which is sitting. Okay, which is where we get the term cathedral from. Okay, so these are postures. Thesaistines. Now, did he always mean postures throughout this whole thing? Yes and no. Okay, he would have had that in his mind, but he's just specifically addressing the postures here, because he's fluent. It's his native language. He knew that there are three ways he can use that word. I think he was teaching this with all three in mind. That's why I dealt with the most abstract first, and now I'm going to the most earthly and understandable second. All right, so, and then eventually, later on, much later on, thesis has a third, he shifts into a third use of the word thesis. So here, he's using it for postures. Here, he's using it in all its senses, and later on, he'll use it in the sense of like a premise, something that's put down, it's irrefutable. So, an example of a thesis can be someone saying, I don't know, it is raining. Okay, and you might be standing out in the middle of a flash flood, and someone looks at you dead in the eyes and says to you, it is raining. That's a thesis, right? That is a premise that's just true. Okay, after the flash flood, it's all calm and quiet. That person can look you in the eyes again and go, it was raining. That's another thesis. Okay, so it's been put down. The reason why it can mean opinion and also a like sort of very true premise, irrefutable, okay, doesn't have to be proven, is because of the root word tithemi, which means like to put, to place. It's been used in two different senses. So leave that there for now. Just know that we're going to talk specifically about postures in a second. So, eoposun aleos. Eoposun alos, right? Pros heteron. So we've seen this sentence, this phrase before, or in any other way related to something else, relative to something else. So, hoion horos mega legatai pros heteron. So, some mountain is said to be large in relation to another mountain. All right, do I have a picture of a mountain? I know I have pictures of mountains everywhere, right? So you might say this guy's on a little mountain, if you want, and you can look over here, and there you go. You might say that this one is a big mountain, that one's a little mountain, maybe this one here, and it's in relation to two of the same kind. Remember how he used this word before, homogenon, like the same genera? That's what it should be, right? It's speaking about the same species or genera, same class of things, is where the relatives exist between, okay? So let's continue on. Kai to homoion, so similar things. Kai to homoion dini homoion legatai. So similar things are said to some particular similar thing. Right, so that's just a general rule here. Kai to homoion dini homoion legatai. So it's bad logic if you try to establish relatives between things that are not of the same class, right? We'll continue on. Kaita alla detta tuyauta hosautos prosti legatai. And of other things, in such a way, the relatives are said of the same kind, okay? So relatives are between the same kinds of things. So you can't say all human beings are small because whales are big, right? We know that there are some human beings which are big, okay? Do we have an example? Okay, he's bigger than all the rest, right? This teacher, like he looks even taller than these adults over here, right? So you might be a giant of a man. Let's say he's about 6'5". So he's bigger. We don't just say he's small too because whales are bigger. They're different genera. They're different kinds, even though, not entirely, because we're mammals. You can say the brontosaurus, the thunder lizard, was enormous. So everything else is tiny. It's not fair. It's not how it works. That's not how the mind works. We're comparing things within the same class. Do I have one of like inanimate objects which I can use besides mountains? We've looked at that before. Buildings. Here we go. Just because this structure is titanic, right? Absolutely tremendous. We don't say all other buildings are tiny, okay? So just because this one is enormous, we don't say then that let's find another smaller building, right? I've just got big buildings everywhere. We don't say this is tiny ipso facto, okay? This would be compared to all other sort of mangers and stables, okay? Mangers and stables, they're compared to each other, and massive pantheons like the one we looked at are compared to each other too, right? And that's how the human mind works, and it's working that way because that's just the proper way of thinking about these things, okay? Hey, the thesis pros ton prosti. So thesis in the idea of speculation is a relative, and it's also a relative in the idea of position. Hey, the thesis ton prosti. To de anakaistai. So this is reclining. Did I just skip one? Yeah, I did. Eti de kai he anaklesis. So like lying down. Kai he stasis. Kai he cathedra thesis. Dines. Hey, the thesis ton prosti. So all these things that we've been looking at are relatives. To de anakaistai. Estainai. Katheistai. So these are like the verb forms of the position. So put ing at the end of this, right? So standing, sitting, reclining, okay? And this is the actual position, okay? He anaklesis. Autamenuk isi thesis. The verbs themselves, they are not relatives. So the doing, the actual, the standing the verb, the action of standing, that's a different category. But the position of that comes about from the verb, separate those two. Separate those two. So the standing is an action, but the position that he's in, the position, that's a category, right? That's a relative. That's an accident, right? By virtue of standing, right? He is standing. It's easier in Greek, of course, because hestasis, the stand. It almost sounds like. This person is like sort of reclining on the rock. The reclining, the verb, is a different category, and the actual position of being reclined, being reclined sounds better, is a relative. Okay, it's relative to all other. You've got the reclining one and you've got the standing one, and that's sort of a paronym in a sense. I'm giving him a name by virtue of an accident is almost a paronym. So we've got the reclining ones, this baby, that baby, she's just straight up lying down. Reclining sort of looks like she's reclining too. And we've got some standing ones, all right? This noble looking king or duke or whoever, this man here, and the Messiah, okay? So that should make sense. The action, the verb, and the position are two different things. Paranumos, the okay, there he goes. Paranumos, the apoton airemenon thesion legatai. So, yeah, indeed, paranymus, from these aforementioned things are said. So, if this kid's standing and there's another kid sitting, you could form a paronym. Here we go. If you don't know their names, which I don't, you can say the crouching one. It's like a paronym, the crouching one, based on the position, the thesis of the child. The standing one, okay, or the standing ones and the crouching one, okay. The sitting one. Again, the standing one, the sitting ones. Paronyms from the position. I think that makes the point clearer enough anyway. Right, so the standing one, I don't know what you call this, the despairing one, but the sitting ones, the standing one, and yeah, that should do. So we can form paronyms from these positions, okay? And that's where we'll leave it. Three key things to take away from this lesson is that, first of all, to take the scalpel, take the exercise, the intellectual exercise of ensuring that you separate the doing, the action, from the position itself and consider them as different things, spoken of in different ways, understood in different ways. Second thing is to compare them amongst similar things which are in the same class. So mountains to mountains, positions to positions, knowledge to knowledge, speculation to speculation, habits to habits, senses to senses, all these things related to each other. That's how relatives go. And all the way back here, all right, things like a double and half and triple, okay, they're relations too. And the point that I made around about this point, I made the point that they are understood by the intellect. Of course, the intellect can sort of understand them, but they will still exist even if an intellect isn't considering them. Something will always be above and below another thing. Something will always be double and half of another thing. Numbers themselves, okay? If you have 10,000 Greeks and you have 20,000 Persians, okay, it's just always going to be a double and a half situation there. If this rock weighs twice the amount of that rock, that relation between these substances of this rock and that rock will always exist. Even if all these men are dead and every other man human is gone, okay, it would still be the case that between these two substances there is the relation that they are double and a half. All right. Now, a caveat here is for the Christian and the non-Christian, or I should say the atheist and the theist, there is a huge difference in understanding this, because for the theist who says that God exists, we might say that it is always being understood by the divine mind, that even if all human beings, even the angels, were removed from existence, the divine mind would still be contemplating and understanding these relations. And for the atheist, they would be in the position where they could argue that a lot of these relations would stop existing because they rely on the mind. But we will explore those arguments at a later date. We're just learning the basic foundational logic rules right now, okay? And we'll leave that there. So hope you've enjoyed this lesson. It's very abstract, of course. It's rooted in physical things, but we're speaking of some common everyday things in ways that is uncommon. So if any of this has felt like, I don't know, it's just not clicking with you, just wait. We're still in early days. We've only gone through like one enormous paragraph. There's still quite a lot to chapter 7. He goes through all of these things that he's bringing up right now. We will go through properly throughout the chapter. Right now, he's giving you the movie trailer, if you will. He's giving you the promotion video for an event. He's taking you through all these different components that are in chapter 7, and then we will go through it. Like here, knowledge, right? Episteme, right? He's brought it up here, and he's treating it down here. So right now, if you feel like there are a lot of moving parts and it's not clicking with you, that's natural. All right, just let him, like homoion, similar things. Didn't we just look at homoion up here? So don't worry, take it step by step, and we will treat everything properly in its due time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next lesson. And as always, si semper fortis in opere tuo.